Welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast.
Connor's shining his shoes.
Frack. Trying to curse less, folks.
No, man, that's the side benefits of a shoe shine boy job. You think they don't get nothing out of it, right? Like, here's a quarter, don't spend it all in one place. But they have a buzz all day because that shoe polish is good shit.
Is it? Is it really?
That's why they always look happy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a euphoric
the best
thing.
Intro we've ever done.
You know what? I should just start. Should just start streaming at random times as we talk. Just boom. Hi everyone. Just go.
Well,
my
Elite,
God.
Elite Dangerous.
No, we're not. We're not there
today
yet. We're not. Stop.
Was the wrong day
no.
to stop sniffing glue.
We're not there
What?
yet. Hi everyone. I'm your co-host Brian, and joining me as always is your co-host Jim.
Sniffing glue.
Yes, and your co-host Hunter.
Oh, this is a riot.
And we have a guest this week joining us. Oh God, from Canada, St. Paul's, Newfoundland. I hope I said that. Finland. St. John's, Newfoundland.
I found this new land.
Newfoundland. In Canada, Colin Walsh of Celsius Game Studios to talk about his early access open space trading combat everything game Drifter.
Hello.
Hi. Oh,
Haven't you been here before?
No.
No, actually.
This is
Really?
his first time.
God, it seems that way because you've been in like early access for what, like 10 years or something.
Easily, yes. I've been in early access actually longer than early access has existed because I have a time machine.
So I promised everybody in the forum the first question I was going to ask you is how come you haven't put a video up for a year? Because we thought you were dead. Like I look at your YouTube channel and there's nothing.
He's been posting.
Like a year.
He's been posting stuff on Steam. There was a new update in December.
Yeah, but I only work in YouTube terms, so
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Well, maybe I should have a video up, but yeah, no, I haven't.
Hey, he's got a cat video on his YouTube page.
Oh, salvation is at hand. All right, we're good.
Okay.
By the way,
That's my
Brian, I bought my
private
wife that book
YouTube
today.
page, but yes, the company one I haven't updated with a new trailer in a while, but it has progressed a fair amount since the last one, so you're not wrong. I should probably get a new video.
Have you gotten a third dimension yet? I mean, it's been a while, so has it evolved into like height yet, or you're still flat?
Hype.
This is kind of flat space, but that name was already taken.
It's an interesting story actually, because the game was originally going to be top-down, like kind of Starflight, Star Control 2 kind of thing. But basically, because it was all in a 3D engine, I pulled the camera back one day and it looked way better, so I just stuck with that. So it's 2.5D. You get half a dimension.
I do like how it looks. I've always enjoyed the ship that you start with. The what's it called? The Shrike. The
Shrike, yeah.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed the design of this ship. But there are other ships you can buy in the game at some point, right?
Yes.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's one of the. See, that's what I never understood about X Rebirth. Like, one of the great things about these games is people love buying new ships. It's like a game where it's like a driving game where you get new cars.
Why would you never get tired of the Alderaan skunk?
Albion
Sorry,
skunk.
the Albion skunk. I know, I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay. No, you do get tired of it because you can only see one part of it, and it's either you're looking at the screen, you're looking at a door, or you're looking at that co-pilot's haunting empty eyes.
Yeah, but for $200, you could get another ship. Never mind.
So, folks, for $50 you could not buy that game. So, folks, a little bit of shock of housekeeping before we continue. We are going to slowly be introducing format into the show. We're actually going to start having something of a format.
Format C:?
It's not finalized yet. We're still working on it, so we're not doing it for at least a few more weeks. But
we're actually doing it right now.
We're going to be talking about some news.
We've replaced his coffee with Folgers crystals.
God, that stuff is disgusting. It's not real coffee. So we're gonna we're gonna have an intro. We're gonna do news. We're gonna talk about the game. We're gonna have an outro type thing. Be a little more structured, not a ton, but just a little bit more structured because.
Also, the show is going to be available in the current version. If you're currently a subscriber, then you get both halves of the show for one low price. But starting at the first of next month, then you'll have to get the show and then the multiplayer part of the show separately for full price.
Yeah, we're gonna be
But
having.
if you buy one,
full
then we'll
price
give you
each.
the other one at a half off discount.
Right.
sort of.
So if you want to subscribe to the Shivan edition of the podcast, it's $19.95 a month, and not only do you get the game, the podcast in English, you will get it translated into Klingon. So
Yes.
That's value for money.
I mean, you can't not afford to subscribe.
For $99.95, I will paint any podcast any color. Guaranteed to not
So
chip,
we're-
crack, or peel.
So all I'm saying is we're going to be working slowly, working this format into the show as we test it out. And so we're going to try a little bit of news this week just to see how we do. So Jim, why don't you start off with your favorite bit of news this week? Go for it.
Oh, yes. So that would be the Elite Dangerous Wing Commander Arena module. But they called it Arena. Why do they have to try to emulate everything that Star Citizen does, including the failure?
I don't know.
Okay, so here's some history. Back in June, they came out with the Close Quarters Combat module, right? Which is it's very
Otherwise
easy
referred
to
to
miss.
as CQC.
Yes, CQC.
And it's
So
never
this
really,
was-
it's never
This
really
came
gone
out to
anywhere.
much
Yeah.
thunderous applause, and then was quickly forgotten 3 days later. We tried, right? The one multiplayer Thursday, we jumped in there. There's like 4 of us. It's like, cool, let's find a game, and we sat for like 20 minutes and
Yeah.
couldn't find anybody else to play with. Okay, so guess nobody's playing that. So I went in single player, and then it dropped me into an open spot. But if you come with a pre-made 4-man team, like, hey, we're friends, we're gonna play this, like people would do, forget it, because you're gonna sit and wait for another 4-man team to show up, and apparently that's never. So, but anyway, this was a thing that was brought out. It addressed this community tug of war, where you have the whiners that are PvP whiners that say, God, we want PvP and we want to keep score and we want to whatever. And then you have the Care Bear whiners that say, we don't ever want to get shot at by people. So they said, well, let's contain this in an arena, and these people can shoot at each other in there, and we'll have a scoreboard, and and you can have like money that you earn there will feed back into the main game proper, which it doesn't. And then we're going to make it an e-sport, and it'll be like super popular, and we're going to talk about it in the game, which they don't. And I would, it's another thing like power play, right? It's like there's a thing there. If you want to go look for it, if you notice that it exists, it might be fun for you. But like with power play, it's there. Do you notice? Would anybody notice unless they open that part of the map and say,
No.
what's this? Let me go read a
See,
website. I
here's
got to read the
here's
wiki.
Here's the opportunity I think they're missing with CQC is that I thought it would be like more integrated into the actual game, like a gladiatorial event. Like if you want to participate, you have to go to this station and get a ship. But if you want
Yeah,
to
or have it on the frickin' news ticker. Let me know that it's going on.
yeah, if you want to
Right.
spectate, you have to dock at a station and like go to the spectating arena or whatever,
What about betting? I could bet on people. Wow, it would be like a professional sport, right? And then
That'd
I
be
could just
fun.
be like, hey, I'm gonna put 1,000 credits on Brian to lose, because I know. But yeah, I mean, it's just they put a thing, and it's like they checked off
Yeah.
the box, like, okay, the thing is there. All right, let's move on to the next thing. And then like planetary landings, right? Much thunder and whatever. Okay, now we have the same problem set on the planet that we did in space, which is there's just nothing compelling to do. There's plenty of stuff to do, right? And when Braben talks about this stuff, well, first off, the most ludicrous shit that he said was, oh, well, we're kind of reaching out to the Call of Duty crowd here because, most people that aren't. He said that. He's like, well, maybe we'll get some of those kids, right? That they just want to have a competitive multiplayer shootery thing. and it'll be like a gateway experience to get them into the main game if they dig it. Or if not, we just get $7 out of them, and it is what it is. And it also kind of brings population into the CQC thing for those of us who already have it and wish that there was people to play with, I guess. I don't know. At that point, I would say, shit, man, give that thing away for free, because then it's going to get some popularity, right? Like microtransact it or something. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see that happening, and I don't see that it's going to see further development either. I think it's just going to be well, here's this thing, and we've moved on, right? Because their fundamental business problem is that every December they want me to spend $40 more, to keep my subscription, air quotes, subscription going. Yes, okay, and I would do that, but the problem is that they have to start in June with developing whatever this killer app is that I have to have, right?
Do you know
that? Yeah, that's when they started with the whole planet thing. They announced it like back in June.
Well, that's when
right?
They
were like,
it.
CQC shipped out. Well, they're probably working on it in the background, but then what they did is they took people off the development stuff. Like the girl, I cannot remember her name, that was developing the spaceship AI, and it was like, okay, all the AI for all the ships is rock stupid, and there's no difference between an inexperienced and a super deadly pilot. They don't fight any differently. They're just sort of a target, and they've tweaked out like the damage stuff and that, but it's like, they don't fight any different. Okay, so she was working on AI, and this was from, I think, actually CQC kind of, maybe if they're smart, played into this, because then they can watch how people fight and teach the AI, right? Because here's all the tricks. We have an observation platform to just isolated watch fights, and then we'll see how people actually succeed, and we'll teach the AI to do that. So she's working on that, and they took her off of that because, well, somebody's got to make those golf carts drive around on the moon. And that feature has been backburnered for a year. And it's just now that they said, like, in 2.3 it's going to come in. Well, we're not even to 2.1 yet. So, where are we? I don't know. I lost track. But, but it's going to be summertime before we see that crap. But at least it's back on the front burner, right? But that's what I'm talking about whenever I say, well, this shit causes detrimental delays to core content whenever they go off on a tangent like that. And CQC was a tangent that nobody really wanted. Everybody said they wanted it, and then when they got it, it's like, I want pie, and you get pie, and then you don't eat it. And it's like, well, we wanted cake instead.
Like, I mean, we've said this already, but if CQC was integrated into the main thing, I'd probably play it more often.
Yeah. Or at least spectate. Like, it'd be cool. Like, if I went to a station and like I didn't really feel like going anywhere just yet. Like I needed to just take a breather. I could be like, oh, I'm gonna go over to the CQC arena and watch a match. I can't even do that. Like, can I
Yeah. So here's the cure for this, right? I hope you're listening, Dave. Dave, pay attention. So what you do when they have multiplayer like that, you have to record ship position data, and you have to transmit that to the server and to the other players, right? So why don't you also stream that to a file? Because you have the ship position data for everything that all those ships are doing in the 3D space. So have an ability to upload that file, and then I can play it back as a recorded combat in the engine, right? So if I want to go watch a CQC fight, yeah, that might be, like a half a meg file. It'll just be a text file, right? Like a, compressed up little thing. But I can rehydrate that and watch it in the engine and watch the fight play out. And I could watch it from any damn angle I want, right? Give me camera controls. Because they've got that crappy debug camera right now. Thing's terrible. The reason that they limit it so much is they don't want anybody to be able to actually fly the ship in third person and have some advantage or whatever. So, all right, fine. Let me have full camera control in external view, anything I want to look at that's in the instance with me in a recording, right? And then think about this. The machinima guys will go apeshit with this. They will make feature films, right, using that engine. They've already kind of done it, but they have to use another ship that's got its external camera thing, and they do like flybys of it or whatever. It takes a lot of coordination and effort. But with this thing, it would be like effortless. It would be kind of like what GTA's got. They've got a film recorder, right? You can record like, minutes of gameplay, load it up in the editor, edit that thing like Hollywood style, do whatever the hell you want with it, and then save it and upload it to YouTube. Why not do that for Elite? Because that would promote the shit out of this game, and we would do it for you, right? All those content creator machinima dudes would absolutely be the best commercial you could possibly get. And the data's already there. It's not like they have to invent this thing. So that's my giant suggestion for CQC, because then you could take those combat films and upload the bad boys and just be like, hey, you want to watch the fights from last night? Hey, here's the tournament. You can download like all the battles from the tournament and watch them. Okay. Anyway.
Right. So fun.
Yeah. So I guess our other news is that Star Citizen has split into two halves now. So we have the multiplayer package and the Squadron 42 single player package, which will now be sold as individual products, which, depending on who you talk to, has been the intent all along, or is a brand new thing that they just figured out. I look at it like this. I've been yelling since day one, ship Squadron 42 and then worry about the open world. So I can't really complain about it.
However,
yeah.
if you buy the Squadron 42 and then get the added-on stuff, it's more expensive.
Of course.
Just saying. Just throwing all this out there.
But it pales to the cost of a single spaceship, so whatever, right?
Mind you, I have combed over their Kickstarter with a fine-tooth brush, like the guy from Spaceballs. We ain't found shit. So...
No, it says in their Kickstarter that they want to sell it for $60. I
okay, $60 is not my thing.
That's what it costs now. That's what it costs now.
I understand, but that's not my point.
So what about this? We've been playing a lot of GTA, right? And in that game, you buy a car, right? And it costs money in the game. But you can also, if you don't have enough money, you can put money in real money and get in-game money and then buy that fancy car, right? But order it on the internet, it gets delivered to your garage. However, if you do not insure that car and that car gets blown up, you're SOL. The car is gone. Ask me how I know. And so, it's like I stole a car. I spent like $200,000 modding the shit out of it. I forgot that you have to call the insurance company, and it got destroyed by another player because people are griefers in that thing. And my car's gone, and there's no way to get it back. So can you imagine if those are all real money cars, and that same situation exists in Star Citizen, because that is absolutely the business model. So, I don't know about that. People are gonna just freak out. Because people already cry in Elite. Okay, the rebuy cost on a ship is like, what, 5% of the cost of the ship? And you automatically get insurance, and people still cry, like, oh god, my ship got blown up. Yeah, I think it should be Iron Man. It should be like, your ship got blown up. It was a $100 million ship. Yep. That's it. Roguelike. Yep. Blew it up. Sorry. Shouldn't have flown that damn thing then if you didn't know how to fly it. But, but then people freak out because glitch in the game blew me up or something, right? And then, so it's a bag of worms that they probably don't want to open. But anyway, it's just that kind of thing in Star Citizen. I see like beyond the launch, right? Once the open world thing comes up, that's going to be a money siphon forever if you have stuff, because that has been their stated business model is if you have a ship and it gets blown up, you're SOL, and we don't care if you paid real world money for it or not, because the only way to have gotten insurance on the ship is had you bought it back in the day when we were giving free insurance. Otherwise, even the insurance is going to take money out of your pocket. So, and you got to pay that like what, monthly? So it's like the more crap you own, the bigger your subscription fee is going to be. Ooh.
I don't know if they would ever do that, but it sounds.
Oh, believe it.
It sounds awful.
That's why from day one, I was like, nope, wait and see. I'm not putting a dime toward this thing, and I'm really glad that I did. But you know what game I would give all my money for
Mm-hmm.
is Sliders or Drifters. What's this game called?
It's called Drifter. Thank you. We need to work on that. We said we were gonna do news for like 5 or 10 minutes. That was like 80,000 minutes.
It's a terrible week for that because we have 2 giant outrages that I just can't.
That's true.
I'm having a hemorrhoidal flare up here. Okay, I gotta get my cream. So all right, go ahead and talk about Slider or whatever.
Hi, Drifter, for God's sakes. Hi, Colin.
Hi, Brian.
So I'm playing your game, and I really like it. I was a Kickstarter backer back in 2012.
Thank you.
That's how long this has been working on. How long before that Kickstarter had you been working on this game?
Before the Kickstarter, I'd actually started development in mid-2011.
Okay, wow.
But, I mean, obviously, without the Kickstarter, that really kind of helped a lot, basically. I was able to hire an artist to do, like, all the 3D stuff. His name is Sven Bergstrom, and he's amazing. But, yeah, so basically, I'm the only developer. Like, I'm doing all the programming and the game design and stuff like that, and he's doing all the art. And we've got Danny Baranowski doing the soundtrack. But, yes, you may have heard of that name.
I have. I've heard that name.
But basically, it's a fairly what's the right word? Ambitious game. But
right.
I'm making my way through to the end, slowly but surely. Right,
and like we were talking about this before the show. It's been in development a while. Like the Kickstarter was 2012. It's now 2016. But slow and steady wins the race, they say. So I personally, don't have a problem with that. Oh God, there's a fight right outside the station. Jesus Christ. Okay. But yeah. So combat in this game is kind of crazy because is there a strafe functionality? Because if there is, I've not been able to find it.
No, the idea is to basically, because it's inertial flight, you basically head in the direction you want to go, and then you can change your heading without, like, you can change the facing of your ship without changing the direction you're moving in, basically.
Right.
Which is nice. Way back in the day, you were working on something called Red Nova. All right, so is that like it evolved into Drifter, or is that a separate?
Red Nova was used as kind of the basis of Drifter. Yes, I was going to take. Originally, it was going to be sort of top down. Like Red Nova was a top down, just pure endless space shooter for iPhone. But the idea was to take that and then make a space trading game using the same like camera position and flight mechanics and stuff like that. It was going to be, I guess, similar to, like I was saying before, Star Control 2 or Starflight. And a lot of people compare Drifter to, what is it called? See, I never played it, but a lot of people say it's like this top-down Mac space trading game that the name is
Escape Velocity.
Yes, Escape EV Nova. That's us. Thank you.
Right, that's an excellent game.
I mean, I'm glad people are comparing the game favorably. It's
a very positive comparison. Yes.
It's like this is a lot like EV Nova, and it's like, well, that's good, but I've never played that game. But yeah, so and like I was saying, it was originally going to be a top-down game, but then it's all in like my custom 3D engine. So one day I was like adding planets and space stations and things to the initial kind of like test version, and I swung the camera down and it just felt right. Like it was really expansive and looked a million times better. Like top down works, but it's like
the problem with those things is always the limitation of like, why can I only see 5 feet in front of me?
Yeah, exactly.
So whenever you drop it down to a 3/4 isometric, then now you have actually distance out in front of you.
Yeah, so it's like
And
you can like plan your route and all
yeah,
that
I
kind
like
of
what
stuff.
it does around the asteroids and stuff too, because you have, there's actually, from a top down, you wouldn't have anybody get obscured behind obstacles, but whenever you turn the angle to this, then yeah, they can hide behind things.
I don't know if you saw in the chat, but someone said, Merrick said they loved how your updates were named after Red Dwarf names.
Red Dwarf. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good stuff.
Yeah, the initial that's I've been the I don't know if it went into 2.0, but like the first few point releases were all named after Red Dwarf, and then I basically all the updates are named after sci-fi things now. Basically, like I think the latest one is Narcissus or Nostromo. I think it's Narcissus. It's the name of the ship the shuttle that leaves the Nostromo at the end of Alien.
I don't even remember the name of that thing, but you're probably right. So right now, for folks doing the audio, I am playing the game and I'm doing a patrol for money. I've already got some bounties. It's kind of a nice thing. You get paid to do the waypoints, and you get paid to bounties, which is pretty nice. Now, I've been wondering something. How can I select the next waypoint in this series of patrols?
Selecting the waypoints in the game is it will be something that you can do, but you can't do it right now.
Thank God. Okay, because it's been driving me kind of crazy.
Yeah, so here's a question for you. I know the game is called Drifter, and I get that. Is there a way to actually come to a complete stop?
Yes, you press S on your keyboard or down on the D-pad on your controller.
I tried that and it didn't do it. I kept drifting.
Down on the D-pad does it. I'm pulling down on the stick.
Yeah, it's down on the D-pad.
Oh, because I've been clicking the button and then hitting the stop thing, like the stop sign. That's what I. Yeah,
you can do that too. There's many options. If the sensitivity on the stick on your joystick is a bit high, it might be picking that up and interrupting the stop.
Oh.
So that could be what the problem is there.
One thing that I really like about this is the simplicity of you have vector stuff that's going on, so it's Newtonian. Yet, just looking at the symbology down in the lower left, it's like I have an arrow that clearly shows me which way I'm headed, and then I've got a little speedometer there that's my velocity. So I know which way I need to turn in order to counter what direction I'm going in and such. So
yeah, very simple, very nice.
A lot of games try vector stuff, and it ends up like kind of weird, right? Because you're not real sure what, especially when they do it like in 3D, right? So, like the Evercron stuff, once you get used to it, it's cool. But if you're not familiar, I mean, we've got like a lifetime of history playing these games, so it's obvious, like, oh, that's a vector caret on the HUD. But to like normal folks, it's just like, oh, I don't know what that is. It's like the dust is going sideways, so I must be sliding.
Well, I mean, like that's kind of my design goal for the game. Actually, is like I grew up playing these games and I love them to death. But I also feel like sometimes maybe they might be like the barrier for just someone who like really wants to play a space game but might not be into like the 6 Degrees of Freedom or just the vast complexity that a lot of these games have. Like they're really unapproachable, and part of me is like, well, I'm older. I don't have a lot of, like, sometimes, like, I don't have a lot of time to kind of just get into one of these games, but I still want to play a game and have all of the feelings and experiences that you get playing these games without having this just, massive cliff of, like, learning curve, basically.
Yeah, it's very, moving in this game, even though it's Newtonian, to me at least, is pretty damn intuitive. I mean, I'm still getting a handle on the combat, but yeah, movement is pretty intuitive, I think, which I like.
Yeah, and like some of the other stuff that I've been working on is like the ship customization, and like I want to have like the deep systems, but like the ability to like make them approachable and necessarily like something that you can kind of like, if somebody's not into that, they can ignore it. Like, I've played a ton of these games and there's like a million things you can do in them, and there's, you know, somebody who is just content to play you know, like EVE Online or something like that and just mine asteroids, and they, you know, that's entertainment for them, but they don't want to get into like the other, you know, 700 things you can do in that game. So I'm just trying to basically, like, you can buy a ship and you don't need to necessarily need to worry about loading it out optimally, and you'll still like be able to fly that ship, and it'll be, you know, it's not going to be garbage basically.
Right.
So one other thing that I note immediately here is you have this star map. It's really big. Right, so is it like every single star in the whole galaxy is a plottable course?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
There's 20,000 stars currently. I'm not sure if I'm going to up it before release, but at the very least there will be 20,000 stars. And I'm also working on some other places that you can go, basically, that aren't there right now.
That's cool. So is star placement randomly generated, or is it actually like consistent from game to game?
Right now, basically, it's all based off of the same seed. So somebody playing the game gets everyone playing the game gets the same galaxy. That's intentional because like I want to have exploration elements, like say artifacts or like derelict ships or something like that, and people will be able to share information online about, like, you know, oh hey, this system over here has this thing, and so.
Oh yeah, I totally get that. It's the thing that I'm wondering in this, and by the way, it kind of reminds me of another game that has a similar map, but your game I can actually put bookmarks on the map and remember waypoints and where I've been. I don't know what that other game would be.
I see what you did there.
Raven! But anyway, yeah, so the question that I have, though, is that star map. How do you generate all that? You know, is it like at load time, it's just like it calculates, okay, I'm going to stick some stars these places, or what? Because a lot of these games have a big map like that, and it's just like, do they have a data file that's got all those points, or is it just a seed and it, you know, uses an algorithm and just creates them, or, you know, or what?
It depends. Because I want to display the entire map at once, I pre-create and pre-populate the data file at first boot up, like when you first get the game.
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that.
So and it just like it creates all the stars and models the galaxy using its smoke and mirrors, basically, but using some like math functions and stuff to create the spiral arms and all that kind of neat stuff. But yeah, basically with Drifter, all the star positions are created, and I believe like the security ratings, but everything else, like when you open a system, it actually it creates the same system every time because it uses like a fixed seed with the random number generator. But basically every time you open a system or enter a system, it creates that on the fly.
Okay, so all the names are like randomly assigned and stuff too, or what?
Oh yeah. They're just now it's like this sort of like, some of them are not very pronounceable, but it uses what's the term? Basically uses an algorithm that mashes together sort of word-like syllables, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because one of the things that I noticed, like, you know, in Elite, I'll say the name. I'm sorry, but but in Elite, the stars are actually named what they are, at least in the place that's local to us, where we care what the names of things are, right? So it's like, if I want to look at like Wolf 359, which unfortunately the debris from the Borg War is not there, but if I want to fly out there, I can, or like Alpha Centauri, and it's approximately the distance that and position where it should be. So the constellations are right, and I'm wondering how they cooked an algorithm that does that. I guess they do data for local things, and then when you get out in the wild, it just algorithms it, because who cares?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I actually found a page that they talked about the creation algorithm for Frontier, which is like Elite 2, but the old Elite from 1984. But they're basically, I believe, like the local systems that were kind of like, again, in Elite Dangerous, the same kind of thing. They were fixed data, and then
do you think
else...
we're paying him $60 just to bring out old code from 20 years ago? Is that what this is? he's just reusing.
No, I'm pretty sure the new one's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah.
But
I'm actually quite impressed with. I don't know if you've messed around with it, but Pioneer Space Sim, which is basically a reboot of Frontier, but it's open source.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it. No.
It's pretty neat, and then they had a fork of it that actually went for sale on Steam. It was called Paragon, and then Cliffy B paid him some money, and took the name Paragon because he's going to make some shooter game that's going to be that. So now it's called Jump Drive.
Interesting.
But essentially, it and Paragon Space Sim are like co-joined twins of a sort. But anyway, it has like that same code, so they had to reverse engineer all that stuff that went down in Frontier, but they got it pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think they released the source code for Elite and Frontier. That was a while ago now. That was before Elite Dangerous even came on the scene. But
because there's also like a GL Frontier that's been out for some time. That was like a Linux deal.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. That game's got a lot of love over the years.
Yeah, they're basically like, Elite is kind of like the progenitor of the entire genre, basically. So.
Yeah. So was that one of your first games? Like that's what put you on the path to Drifter?
Yeah. Like I guess Drifter's like main influences are Frontier, Privateer, and probably Starflight are like the biggest ones. And there's some other like other space games that I played that kind of like probably show up from time to time, like Solar Winds and Star Control 2 and stuff like that. But those were the three big ones. And I'm kind of like, I want to kind of capture the, just messing around in a spaceship feel of Frontier. And then the story mode. Eventually, there will be like an actual like story campaign, kind of taken from Privateer. Okay. And it's not something that's going to be like a 1.0 feature, but I want to do planetary landings, kind of like Starflight did.
That's not going to be paid DLC, right?
Oh God, no.
I'm sorry.
Who do you think I am? Somebody who can command that? No.
Sorry, you'll find that I take every opportunity to dig into certain products, but yeah.
My only regret is I'm not Chris Roberts, and I can't charge hundreds of dollars for a spaceship.
Yeah, but I think when the FTC
don't feel bad about
investigation hits, you're going to be glad that you're not Chris Roberts. So. But anyway, yeah. So I'm looking at you got a stock market going on here. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I mean, basically there's like right now there's trading, there's some procedural missions, mining, and like bounty hunting and stuff like that. And I'm working on I'm calling it material synthesis, but it's basically like a crafting system. But I'm part of the reason that it takes so long to work on that is I'm kind of like building a bunch of different like materials basically that go into it. So it's kind of like chicken and the egg. So I've got to have the foundation there to do that. But then I've got to have a bunch of ingredients that go into the components, and then the stuff that you make basically. So there's a lot of stuff there.
Oh, cool. So I'm looking down the list of ships that you can get here. So some of these are clearly like big transport ships, and others are more like a fightery kind of thing. So can I get my space trucker fix here? Like if I want to be just hauling freight and buying low and selling high, I'm gonna get my jollies right here.
Oh, totally, yeah, for sure. And I'm actually one thing that I would like to have eventually is like a more dynamic system with the stock markets. So basically the prices fluctuate over time.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, basically there are price differences between systems and things like that. But if you find like a good route, it's kind of frontierish in that it'll always be like an evergreen route, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so
selling.
Do you have?
Sorry.
Well, do you have some systems that like this is an industrial system and they're going to want a certain thing, and then this other system will buy the stuff from there? So there's like a natural route, or do all the systems kind of take care of their own, but there'll be the occasional commodity that's a little bit profitable?
No, it is based on like there's a formula basically that determines the price and demand of goods in each system based on like the system type and the government level and things like that.
Okay, so are the systems like themed like that then? Like this system is a certain kind of system, and therefore they want things.
Like right now, basically the station types are randomized, but eventually, like when you go to a mining system, there will be a mining specific station basically with its own. Like some of the internal bits will be the same, but like the docking bay will be themed, and the main promenade area. That's kind of borrowed from Privateer, but
yeah,
I felt they did that really well. So
yeah, because it's a thing that the back end economy stuff that you have here. Can I go in here and actually disrupt that? Like I can like buy up all of a commodity and cause like a gold rush on it or something, or
not currently. That's what I was saying before. Is what I'd like to have eventually is more of a simulation underneath that kind of like takes it, like basically there will be like virtual traders that you'll be competing with, but it'll also like if you buy out all of the supply, it'll affect that system's like the demand for that.
Yeah, that's cool, because that's a thing that all these space games really need to have. And I was actually shocked that it was Star Nomad 2, and we had Hoy on a few weeks back. That was a game. It's a 2D top-down, kind of simple looking, like fly around and trade a little bit and whatever. But then when I got to talking to him, he's got that whole back end sim thing going on, and there'll be like events that will randomly happen on planets, like, oh, a plague broke out, so now medicine spiked up over there, so if you can go grab medicine cheap and hustle it over there before that goes away, you're going to get bank, and that sort of thing. And then if you go in and screw the economy up in a system, then you actually kind of weaken them militarily, and that can actually change the military campaign that you don't directly control. But the friendly forces might, if you go in and soften them up economically, then friendly forces can come in there and actually invade it.
Larry,
stuff.
Larry, to answer your question, we're talking to the developer of Drifter while Brian plays it for us. Sorry, I was answering a question in chat there.
That's cool.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that's the kind of thing that I've always wanted to see in these is like, if there's a fight going on and they're producing ships somewhere, well, they're going to need to get the parts for the ships from a factory, and the factory is going to need to get the ore from a mine to make those parts.
Ooh.
So you have like a supply chain kind of thing.
Ooh.
And ultimately that's what I want to see in one of these games is where, you know, if I go kill the guys that are mining, I can actually stop the production of the battleship.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, this could get there, you know, if you want to go that deep with it. But it's almost like, you know, the player gets a mission because you come in here and you have a mission office, right? So how do those missions get generated now, and what's your eventual thing for it? Because if a station has a need, I would think, okay, the station is low supply of this, it's going to want somebody to go get it, so it should generate a mission for somebody to do it. But if the player doesn't do it in time, then it'll send an NPC to get it done.
Yeah, like right now it's just the current missions are basically just simple procedurally generated, like from a few templates basically. But eventually I'm the way I'm looking at it, I want to have like faction based missions where like eventually the game's going to have a bunch of different factions, and you'll have like standing among those factions. So if you do missions for one faction, it might affect your standing with other ones. But in addition to that, like I'm looking at what's the right word? Like events, basically, like timed events, like you know, you might actually get, like, instead of going to the mission office, you might actually get a mission from, you know, somebody's like, oh, your standing is so good, like, here's a mission that we feel that you're the person to carry this out, basically. So you'll get like a like a message inbox, basically, and you can say, oh, well, I'll take this, or I'll ignore this. I'll let these people get killed by this horrible plague or something like that, and that would end up like tanking your standing or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. So what you have this variety of different ships, right? So as I make money, I can get better equipment. How do the missions take into account, or will they? You know, I don't assume that they do it yet, but whenever a player gets a really cool ship, do you have to look at like, okay, what's he flying now? So I need to scale this mission to be appropriate to that, because you don't want it to be a cakewalk and you don't want it to be too much. But then again, you should be able to get into a situation where it is too much and you need to run, right? Like, oh, I never should have came here.
I don't think, like, my plan at least is to not gate the missions based on your, say, like, eventually there's going to be like your character or like pilot will also have like skills and attributes, but I don't want to use that to kind of determine the difficulty of the missions. So basically there'll probably be like missions that you can take that are like way too easy once you get to a certain point, but eventually there'll be other missions that you can take on, so that basically you can tell by looking at the mission through some sort of feedback how difficult it is based on, say, the location of the mission or who you're going up against or the number of ships. So basically, like, some of them, it'll probably be like, you take this mission in this system, so the game will build the opponents to a certain like difficulty level. Or like, so like the number of opponents you face and their loadouts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because there's kind of, you know, two ways that you get into that I've seen in games. So did you play any of the Bethesda stuff like Oblivion and Skyrim and that? Because that's like the clearest example of screwing it up. It's Oblivion. So in Oblivion, it would always tailor the enemies to be an appropriate level to the character, which meant that I could walk in to a cave and there's a dragon, right? And the dragon is going to be about the same level, where I could deal with it. So if I'm low level, it's going to be a low level dragon. But conversely, if I'm high level and I come back to the starter town, now the rogues who should be, these are poor people, right? They rob people on the road. Why are they wearing like super magic armor? It's like they've got glass and dragon scale armor. Why are you guys robbing people on the side of the road? Clearly you're billionaires. So that's kind of where it gets goofy. But I like the thing of kind of like a progression, right? Like if the further you get from the starting area, or there are some systems that are like a brighter red on the map, like it's scarier there. Make sure you're ready for it, and you might get there and just be like, oh god, and jump back out, because it's like, whoa, that's way beyond me. But then you don't necessarily want it to be like an onion, right? Where as I get like each concentric ring of distance away, they get tougher, because that's kind of unnatural too. So it's an interesting problem to solve, and I'm not sure how I would do it.
Yeah, no, I've been giving it a lot of thought for sure. It's like you said. I mean, it's basically going to be like already in the game. There's a like a safety rating basically on each system. So like if you don't want to get into combat a lot, like I was trying to say earlier, like I want to try and cater to a bunch of different play styles, because some people don't really want to, be fighting pirates all the time, because they'd rather just, truck around basically hauling goods between systems, so you can kind of stay in the safer systems. And so like there'll be, pirate occupied systems that, depending on how close they are to, say, like a central, like capital system or station, like the closer you get, basically, the higher the numbers go up, and the chances of encountering better equipped ships increases. So it's
nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of like where my head has been thinking about this.
No, I hear you, because I just I was having a real tough time with some earlier pirates, but now that I've gotten a little more used to combat and upgraded my guns, because I found some fat loot. I found a shield generator and a jump drive, man. That gave me a nice bit of credits. I found some nice stuff, so I upgraded my guns, and that last fight was a lot better.
Yeah, the starting weapons aren't really all that great, but I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah, no, it's totally the point. But that was fun. My only suggestion, you probably have thought of this, but like if you're doing a waypoint mission, maybe number them, and then like point me to the first one, then the next one, then because I was like, which one am I going to? I don't know, because the text overlaps each other, and early access, folks, early access.
It's on the list. Trust me.
Yay! Because I love these games, but my bread and butter is missions. I love missions. Like I'm terrible. Like I'm playing it. This week I'm playing through the X3, one of the X3 games, Albion Prelude, and they're business sims. Really, they're not spaceship games.
Have you ever gotten any kind of good at it? Because
no,
I have never gotten to the point where I can own anything.
No,
I fly around. I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I feel so disconnected.
I can own things. Yeah,
I feel so disconnected. Like I feel like I'm a headless. I feel like I'm a head floating in a spaceship. I don't feel like I'm a pilot in a spaceship. So
yeah, I watched a strategy video, speaking of X3. So it's Terran Conflict was the one, because I keep hearing like Terran Conflict is better than Albion Prelude for a newer player.
Oh,
so
okay.
Start there. And so I'm doing that, and I watched one of those YouTube things, where they're like, okay, we're going to show you how to succeed at this. So it's like, okay, you go here, and you start as a merchant, and that means you get the big merchant ship. He's like, sell that because you want the money, and then take the money and buy a scanner. And then we go to this system and we're going to buy this thing. And then we go to that system and we buy. And it seems like, the stuff that he's buying, which seems like fundamental equipment, is only in one station. And it's like, really? Like a scanner? That should be at every shipyard. It's weird.
Those should come pre-installed, like a navigational unit in a Toyota and a Honda Fit.
Yeah, so what I find is, like, the better scanner you have, the bigger the radius of sight around your ship is. So if you get a nice scanner, you just fly in and it's like, boom, there's the whole system. Okay, now I don't have to fly around and kiss every gate to figure out where they're at. And then through some of the systems, the ones that I would avoid because they're like nebula, right? It's like you're flying, you can't see your hand in front of your face. I'm never going to find anything because I don't have a scanner. Well, now you got a bitchin' scanner so you can see everything. And you fly through that, and he's like, okay, now go up here, and behind that asteroid, yeah, there's a ship. So you EVA out of your ship and fly over to that ship, and now you own it. And it's like a frickin' Star Destroyer, right? And it's like, what? They just left this parked here? Like nobody's noticed? Okay. So he's like, okay, now we take this, and it would be really nice to have, but we're going to sell it and take the money. And now he's like a frickin' billionaire. And he's like, all right, now you just do whatever the hell you want. It's just like, oh, okay. So you have to know the golden path, or you struggle your whole life.
Yeah, no,
wow.
I took a thing with the Argon Peacekeeper, it's called, and it's just one little task / mission after another, which is like, yay, this is exactly what I need. Just give me a thing to do and pay me to do it. That's what I want. And so I've been enjoying even though you say they're very basic, I'm still enjoying them. Like I like patrol missions and I like stuff like that. So I am enjoying them. There's just some quality of life things that I would love to see, that's all.
Oh no, totally. I agree 100%. It's kind of like I basically like in addition to working on all the big systems that I've been working on trying to implement, as I've been going, I've been trying to tweak the interface, make it a bit better, and like, I'd be getting feedback from people. It's like, this is really clunky, and it's like, yeah, I know, I'm really sorry. I'll fix it for next time, and just try and.
Did you? Sorry.
That's okay.
No, I was gonna say, have you guys seen our chat room right now? Someone's using it for their homework.
Oh, nice.
Someone's using it for their engineering homework. Like someone's talking about making a car go fast or something. I just thought that's funny. It's kind of adorable, actually.
We actually do people's homework for a fee.
Doesn't mean you're going to get an A on it, but we'll do it.
I'd forgotten that there was chat on the YouTube stream, and I just opened it. So.
Oh yeah, great.
Hi, YouTube.
Because people have been asking about the game. Like one of the early questions was, when will it come out of early access? Which is probably what everyone's wondering.
I really
just
really
say when it's
it
done. Just say when it's done. Just say when it's done.
when it's done, but I'm trying very hard to get it out of early access as soon as humanly possible.
Can you say very hard again?
Very hard.
Your Canadian shows.
Sorry, A.
No. I wasn't meaning it like that. I'm sorry. It was just kind of. It was funny. It was funny.
Well, like the one time whenever he tried to grow a mouse in a beer bottle, right? So.
And one thing I do like about your game is you really don't need to worry about fuel too much. Like every now and then it's like, oh god, I have to fucking dock and refuel. But with this game, it's like I need to jump here. Okay, you have enough antimatter to do it. Go.
I do eventually want to have a hardcore mode where, like, as a post 1.0 thing, obviously, but just like, total permadeath. You have to manage like your fuel, which is burned up by your capacitors, and like flying basically, and maybe even go so far as have like oxygen supplies and things like that. It's like, oh, you're out of oxygen, so you're dead.
I don't know, man. I have to call your Canadian citizenship into question, though, because I made a total strange brew joke there and got nothing. Do you have no Bob and Doug McKenzie faith?
No, I haven't actually. I watched a lot of SCTV. I've never seen Strange Brew, and in a very Canadian fashion, I am sorry.
Well,
boom.
Well, I'll listen to that.
And he wins. Yeah. And he wins the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah. So now I've got another mission that I haven't seen before, Rogue Replicant. I feel like I'm Decker. So let's see.
It is, in fact, a bit of a reference to Blade Runner.
Ah, yes. I have to take his core back. I would love to be able to click on the name of the system and just have it selected. That'd be nice. Because it's highlighted. It makes me want to click it.
Yeah, actually, in the last update, I did add little indicators in the star map that shows where your target systems are. Eventually, you'll be able to click on it and select the system, but as a sort of stopgap solution.
Have you seen your own star map?
I have.
It's huge. Like, how am I supposed to see a little indicator in this thing?
Just zoom in. You'll be
See
fine.
that magnifying glass?
So I'm looking for a system called Librado. Oh, there it is. So wait, are missions always going to be within a certain radius of where you are? So if you'll see the indicator on the zoom level?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, you know what? I want an Easter egg. Can you do an Easter egg for me? If you grab that magnifying glass, you can actually hold it over the planet and burn the little people off of it.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. By the way, I did notice you've got some. Is this going to be also a mobile game as well? Because I noticed there's a lot of touch stuff. That's like the tactile. Whenever you roll the menus up and down, they bounce, much like an iPhone interface.
Well, originally the game, all the UI stuff.
It was going to be on the Vita, wasn't it?
Yes, still is. And PlayStation 4.
Really? It's going to be on the Vita?
Yes.
I'll be able to play this on the Vita. Oh my god! Are you going to have any kind of cloud save thing? Can I play on here?
That is in fact the plan.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Do you need your fainting couch?
Yeah, I've got the vapors. Someone give me my smelling salts. Oh my goodness.
The ultimate goal, and it may not be available at first, but basically the save games are cross-platform compatible. But eventually there will be an ability to move them around somehow.
Ooh.
So basically, as somebody asked, when is this hitting PSN? Basically, Sony doesn't really have an early access thing, so it has to go 1.0, which, as I said, I'm working towards. So when it goes 1.0, then I've got to go through certification.
Yeah, which also
before. Here's something for you. Here's something for you, just as a side tangent. You want to talk about early access? Something that struck me as odd. And I don't think I've seen this with any other game, so correct me if I'm wrong here, chat and fellow podcasters. I was at Walmart the other day, shamefully, and I was in their electronics section, and I saw on the PC shelf a copy of Space Engineers.
What?
Can somebody explain that to me?
What?
Because
was it a legit box or was it done
yeah.
or something?
Yeah. Okay. It even said on the box, disclaimer: this game is still in development. Now,
I had no idea that.
What?
Wow.
I am. Is that a thing?
Apparently.
Anyway, I had to say it because he's talked about early access and it triggered me. So.
That's insane. How could you box an early access game?
I don't know. Call up Keen and talk to them.
What? Hopefully it's just a Steam key in a box.
Yeah, that's what my thought was. I was like, is that what this is? Cause...
With a big piece of paper that says, this is an early access game. Oh, God. Okay. I thought I was getting hurt, but no, he is. Yay!
Deckard is currently reciting the Tears and Rain speech, but you can't hear him.
Yeah, because space.
Well, it wouldn't have been Deckard that said that. It would have actually been Roy.
Roy?
But that's okay.
Roy, yes. Take away my nerd card.
That's okay. That's okay.
No, you take away ours because you're the one making the game.
No. So I got to take this thing back now. So that was pretty cool. I got hurt.
So what have you been coding this with? Are you in a specific engine or?
I'm a horrible person who hates himself, and I've written the game in my own engine. because I
Whoa!
like
Don't
making things hard.
don't say you're a horrible person. That's pretty awesome. Not too many people we talk to say that they're making it in their own engine. So
Exactly.
Yeah, it was just kind of like I mean, when I did Red Nova, that was in my own engine, and it just kind of like, oh hey, this is convenient, just keep doing this. So
is
I
there
didn't
crossover in the engines?
Sorry.
Is there crossover in the engines? Is it the
Oh,
same
totally.
engine?
Yeah. Basically, it took that engine and just kept working with it. I mean, I've had to make a lot of changes to it to make it like it was originally made with being cross-platform in mind, but then when I started working on like the PlayStation, the Vita, and the PS4 version, I had to like strip out all of like the OpenGL that I was using and like write my own graphics wrapper library thing.
So let me ask you something. Have you actually worked in other engines though? Have you tried other engines out?
I've kind of played around with somebody said Hyper Light Drifter. I was first, thank you.
No,
Sorry.
that's what YouTube gaming does. Like I typed in Drifter to put that in, and it filled it in Hyper Light Drifter on its own.
Oh, of course. But anyway, I was saying like I've kind of played around with Unity and Unreal and some of the older ones, but basically I just like had something that I'd written ages and ages ago and kind of modified that.
I guess my question really is boiling down to: do you find it easier dealing with something that you've written yourself rather than some other proprietary engine?
I think I basically managed to avoid the trap that a lot of people fall into when they write their own engines, is that they're like, oh, I've got to have all these features in the engine before I can start making the game. So basically, the way I've been doing it is I just kind of like implement the bare minimum of what I need and just go with that.
You go.
Yeah.
So, okay, get Chris Roberts on the phone.
Yeah, I heard you guys are close.
Oh yeah, you had a
We
story.
stood close
You had a story about that. Why don't you share that? Because that's actually a cool story.
I wouldn't say close, but I have met David Braben and
Well,
Chris Roberts.
you had a story.
Basically, there's this yearly conference, Game Developers Conference, where everybody who makes games goes and talks about making games and all that kind of stuff.
Did you say it's a Game Developers Conference?
Yes.
Okay.
But the first year that I went in 2011, they started this thing called classic game postmortems, where they'd get developers of classic games that everybody knows and loves to deliver a postmortem about that game, basically, to talk about like the development challenges and all that kind of stuff. So weirdly enough, David Braben was giving a classic game postmortem on the original Elite from 1984, and so I'm like, well, I've got to go to that.
Right.
So I went to that, and basically after every talk, everyone like who wants to kind of like hangs around at the end to talk to the speaker. So I'm like, well, what opportunity is this to meet one of the people who made one of my favorite games? So I stuck around, and I was just chatted with David and talked about the games that I was making, and I was saying I told him even what was it that I was I told him about the game Red Nova that I was working on and had just released, and that I was thinking about making a space trading game, and he thought that was amusing. But next to him, I was Chris Roberts. Like everyone has a name badge basically, and it's like, this is weird. So anyway, introduce myself.
Name badge actually have his name or just a picture of him?
No,
it's like, you know who I am.
Actually, weirdly enough, this was like in 2011. Chris Roberts was kind of like not really active in the game industry because he had gone into movie making, because he had been running a production company for years and years.
Yeah, I have a story, but I'll tell you later.
But anyway, it was nice getting to talk to people who had made games that I really enjoyed, and they were both gracious enough to actually chat with me for a bit before they went off.
And had their secret conference about ruling the economic structure of the game industry as it is.
Did I ever tell you about when I met Peter Molyneux?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. So I was at E3, and I was in the bathroom, and I looked to my side, just out of the corner of my eye, there was this really tall guy. And I looked, and oh god, it's Peter Molyneux, and I'm standing there, like, taking a piss next to the legend. And so all I could think was to say that I was very angry that he took my cow away in the 3rd level of Black and White, but I would forgive him.
Really? Did that actually happen?
Yes, it really happened. I of course did not speak to him while he had, his junk in his hand trying to do things, but it's like,
I gotta shake your hand. Awkward. Oh my god.
It's awkward, right?
Oh god.
Yeah. But I caught myself before I whirled around and peed on his shoe, I was like, oh god. I did seriously tell him that in the hallway, though. I was like, I'm so upset with you because of the cow.
That is interesting, because I also met Peter Molyneux at a conference in France in 2014. That was also weird for me. There was no weird bathroom thing, though. Just
that's
to be
good,
clear.
because that should only happen once. If it was like a pattern of things, then he would start to get really weird about it and need like an entourage to escort him every time he had to go. Because he's like, I just keep meeting people in the bathroom.
It's like, this is weird.
Why does this keep happening? Oh god.
I do most of my best Facebook posting from the bathroom. I'm just saying.
Well, it's
I don't know if you've ever read my column.
It's because you're loosening your sphincter muscle, and that actually allows more energy to go to your brain because you're usually clenching that up more. But when you're able to relax your sphincter muscle more,
it actually
relaxes
right?
your brain. Oh
no, I start posting about Star Citizen or whatever, and it's like the anger in it. Sometimes it just kind of helps with the process.
So
you be a little more forceful.
So you make your own drifters? Is that what we're talking about?
No, that would be Floater. That's a whole different game.
What is even going on?
I don't know.
Somehow something went wrong.
We do tangents. So how many different types? I'm seeing right now, let's see, it looks like 4 different types of missions right now. You have Patrol, Survey, Astrogeology Survey, Rogue, Replicant, and Courier required. So how many more types of missions are you planning?
I don't have a number in mind, but a fair bit more than that, for sure. These are kind of just like, this is just to get you, give people something to do while things happen. And
it worked for me. I made over 100,000 credits that last patrol. I mean, the mission itself only paid like 11,000, but with bounties and loot, I made a killing.
If we can somehow get Colin and the guy that's making Astrox together, and we just mash these 2 games.
No, Astrox is like a relaxed, chill, like I don't want to think too much game. Where this takes a little more effort, which is fine. It's just that's what you want to put in to the game, so it's a little different.
I'm just saying, peanut butter and chocolate. We make a thing.
So, oh man, yeah, because I have toyed with this through the years as it's matured, and I've just really enjoyed seeing where it's going. Now, someone was asking earlier about the AI. It looked like to them, it looks like it's just jousting, like flying straight towards you, shooting, jousting again. Is that the extent of the AI can do right now, or will more dangerous systems maybe have more advanced AI with better pilots, that sort of thing? Like, what's going on with the AI?
Right now, that's kind of the extent of it. It's actually a fair bit smarter than it was when I started out. The jousting is kind of, at least for now, a happy medium. Like, it works a lot better for the faster ships, but the slower ships get hurt. Like, they don't do so well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
but eventually I want to basically add a bit more smarts to the AI. But I'm also working on I don't have a name for it yet, but basically I want to have a new maneuver that added to the game in the near future that will basically give the AI a bit of a leg up and give the player a bit of a leg up as well, because it'll make the combat a little less awkward. Because that is because it's all on the one plane. You end up in situations where there's a lot more collisions, I guess, between the player and enemy ships. So it's with 6 degrees of freedom, while it's more challenging to deal with, it also gives me a lot. It would give me a lot more freedom to move around. But obviously, I'm not going that direction, so I need to kind of.
Well, I wonder if a solution, instead of the ships actually colliding, you could actually just have them pass over each other or something. Just change the Z order enough that they slip past each other.
Well, that's kind of what the goal of this maneuver that I'm working on is going to allow, basically.
But is that a thing that the player has to consciously do? Or...
Yeah, basically.
Helga, I've invented a maneuver.
I was just thinking that. Helga, I've invented a maneuver. It'll be famous in restaurants. Sorry.
What is it, Dr. Heimlich?
Why are you calling me Dr. Heimlich? I'm your husband. Sorry. When you said maneuver, apparently Hunter and I both thought of the same Eddie Izzard bit.
He's like, I've invented a maneuver.
I'm perfectly okay with being characterized in that in that way.
So you know the bit we're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I don't know what people have seen, so that's great. No, I'm really happy that you know that.
I have a sense of relief that I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God!
Okay. I've seen Eddie Izzard. I'm familiar with some of his
Dress
stuff.
Dress to Kill. You got to see Dress to Kill. It's like some of the finest stand-up comedy you will ever see. I'm not even making that up. That's not even hyperbole. It's just.
Have you seen Star Crash yet?
His historic humor is the best.
I'll watch that when Brian watches Star Crash. It's a deal.
It's conquering countries with the cunning use of flags.
Well, my favorite bit from him is actually not in that one. It's Inglorious, where he talks about the Old Testament and Noah's Ark.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. Oh my God, fucking kills me every time. Oh my God.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
Sorry. That was a huge ass tangent.
Hi, I'm still here. That's cool.
Yay!
He hasn't left yet. This is a miracle.
This is amazing. So I don't know if this is a thing or what.
Stay this long.
I don't know if this is a thing or what, but I've got a patrol mission with only 2 waypoints. Is that normal?
It can be.
Okay, that's cool. That's just like that's kind of a U-turn more than a patrol. It feels like, but okay, I guess it's a circle, sort of. Why not? But yes, this game is just a lot of fun. Oh no, bad guys! I must kill them anyway. They all have orcas, which I almost bought one until I saw the shields on the Shrike were actually better.
Yeah, the Orca's it's kind of like more of a freighter type thing. It is unusual that they all have Orcas, though. That is weird.
A lot of them do, and they also have that little lightning-looking, very angular ship that I can't remember the name of. It's like a small, little, really angular. It's a cheaper ship. Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of like the disposable bad guy ship.
Yeah,
for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, I'm fighting one right now. I'm fighting one of those little fuckers right now.
They're very fast, but they're like TIE fighters, kind of.
Yeah. They look like something from out of Tron, actually, a little bit. They almost look polygonal in how they're designed, which I dig. I dig that. Yeah, you're going down, buddy. You're gonna die. Now, one thing I also like. Oh, I got hurt. Oh, I'm hurt. I am very much hurt.
You're not on fire, though. So
I am on fire. There's a delay on the stream. So in a little bit, you will see that I am indeed on fire.
Oh, there you go.
And
you are very on fire.
I am very on fire. So I like how there's no like, I don't know if there's something you want to do with patrol missions, but there really isn't a time limit. So I can just be like, I'm going to go back to the station now and fix myself before going to that last, that next waypoint.
Well, I mean, you know, the pirates that are accosting the system are clearly here for, you know, the long haul.
Exactly.
They're dedicated.
Exactly. Now, they're going to be like pirate stations and things you can find like that. Like you can take out the pirates or join the pirates. Can you join the pirates?
Yes to both.
Ooh.
So, yes, basically the plan is to have the pirates as their own faction. And, like, if you do, you know, missions against pirates or bounty hunting or whatever, that will make them mad at you, and you'll probably encounter them more often than, like, you know, bigger and badder ones. But if you increase your standing by doing piracy on your own, basically, you will basically piss everybody else off, but the pirates are like, oh, hey, he's one of us. And so you'll eventually reach a point where you can like go to a pirate system and not be attacked on site and their station and access like contraband goods and like pirate equipment that maybe you can't find anywhere else.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
can you call like a station Tortuga and be like, this is the pirate haven?
Exactly.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Now, I've noticed there doesn't seem to be any way to communicate with other ships. Is that something that's going to be added, perhaps?
The only method of communication in the world of Drifter is through violence. No, I'm just kidding.
That should be like a bullet point on the box if you ever had a box. That is great.
Well,
That is great. Yeah, put it in Walmart right next to Space Engineers.
The plan is to eventually have like kind of like an answer response system that they had. I'm currently looking at how they did it in what is it? Star Control 2, where you can like you have canned responses and things, so you can like.
You should totally do it like they did it in Starflight. You can have obsequious, you can have hostile.
Yeah, or actually, yes, that's the other. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of like the direction I'm thinking of going in for that. But basically, like, you can kind of bring up the comms and talk to another player, and like there'll be some basic things like maybe you can ask for assistance, or you can say like, "Give me all your stuff," and that might make them try and run away or attack you and all that kind of stuff.
All your shipper belong to us.
Yes.
Because I do love the whole violence thing. It's funny, when I got Starflight, I didn't know what obsequious meant. I was just like, this is the begging. This appears to be the one where they beg. Okay. I had no idea. I was like 12.
That is a problem playing, like, when you're younger, playing these games. Like, some of the stuff is lost on you, and you go back, it's like, wow, I was an idiot when I was playing this game. I remember, like, playing some,
or in Brian's
really...
case, I'm still an idiot. Oh, sorry.
No, you're not wrong.
It's like classic games is like, wow, I played that game, and I was, like, the original... I remember playing the original, not to get on another tangent again, but the original Metal Gear for the Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, like, I didn't get the concept, and I was just trying to, like, you know, run and gun, and I didn't get the whole stealth thing. And now I'm looking back and I'm just like, wow, young me was an idiot.
Oh, you're supposed to be quiet.
Oh, wait, yes, now I understand.
Oh, bad guy. Okay, hang on, I gotta kill this guy. Where are you going? Where are you going? He's running away. He's not even shooting. He's not even fighting. Is that something that people they might do? Because he's
actually, it's possible. Like, it depends. Because I'm going to call it a feature, but it's really a bug. Like, patrol NPCs sometimes attack other NPCs.
Okay, so, I'm on fire now.
Yeah,
That's okay. So is he. Or she.
The egret is a pretty well armed ship.
Yeah, it kind of kicked my ass. I need one of them. I need me one of them because holy Christ. That's going to be an expensive repair bill. Oh, yeah. One thing I was going to say I like is that how, like, when you get hit, you freaking hear it and you feel it, which I like. Like, it's like, it's like boom, boom, boom. The sound effects are pretty good. And I also like, I think the controller shakes. When you get hit, but getting hit feels really violent. And I like that.
Yes. I've borrowed from the Vlambeer School of Game Design and used a lot of egregious screen shake.
Hey, if you're gonna borrow from anyone, you might as well borrow from Vlambeer because they get a lot right.
But yeah, no, there's I should have a screen shake slider that causes like the UI to shake or something.
I dig it. Oh, I would dig that. I dig that a lot. Have you played Nuclear Throne?
Oh God, yes.
Oh
this
God,
is like my
so
favorite game on the Vita right now.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
Wow,
good.
it's like you guys must be the only two people that own Vitas, man. Because like I know nobody
There are
else
dozens
but
of us. Dozens.
Honestly, there are. I mean, it's not a huge amount, and that's kind of why I can understand like why the Vita is kind of ignored a bit because like the user base is not huge, but for like a smaller game, like from what I understand, like people who own Vitas, like they love games and they really like they want to buy games. So it's like for somebody like a small studio like me or like Vlambeer or something like that, it's a really good platform to release on because like they really want new content and they're willing to pay for it. So
Yeah, it's really become a small haven for indie games. Like there's some little indie games like Binding of Isaac and stuff like that on there that is just really great. And and Nuclear Throne is great on there. Spelunky for a while. That's all my Vita was a Spelunky machine, because that's how awesome it is. I mean, I don't even know if I could.
That's actually a good name for a game, the Spelunky machine.
The Spelunky machine? Yeah, I know, right? Where do I find missiles? God damn it! I can't find missiles. Sorry.
Scroll down to ammo.
Ammo. I see mass driver slugs, bullets, and auto. I can't find missiles.
Oh, maybe there aren't any in the station.
I hate it. I need more missiles. I really lack my missiles. And I've got money now. When I started, I had no money, and now I've got a little bit of scratch because I found a couple of hyperdrives and shit to sell. That's those stuff. Those jump drives.
Anybody need a hyperdrive?
Oh, the Lego Movie, so great. Anyway, so you're planning on releasing this year, which is great. That'd be awesome. And your price point is really nice. It's only what, $10, and that's not.
I think right now it's when it was like first on early access, it was 10 to kind of like match up with price you could get it for through the Kickstarter, but it's gone up a little bit. It's like $12.99, I think.
But if you get it now, you won't have to worry about the extra $15 you have to spend later for the multiplayer portion.
It's actually $11.99. It's actually $11.99.
Yes,
no, that's
I'm in Canada.
You're Canadian.
Our dollar is worthless now, so.
But
yeah,
that's still a wow. The reviews are not kind.
Yeah, but see, if your dollar's all shitty, then that means you have a lot more export power, right? Because then your exports will be. That's the bullshit they sell us here. So
yeah. That's good. Like selling stuff and getting paid in American dollars is good. But yeah, that is the upside.
Could we pay you in blue jeans? That kind of worked in Russia.
I'll pay you in windbreakers.
No, just dollars, please. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Brian, you're basically, because development is slow, some people have gotten impatient and rated up the negative reviews on Steam. which is fine. I understand. I mean, but like the overall rating is still like 76 or 77% positive.
You should offer to do
positive,
refunds and moose knuckles.
It's 76%. Yeah. So, I mean, that's good, because I've always enjoyed this game. I've been excited about it. It was one of the early, if I recall, this was one of really the earliest Kickstarter successes in the space game space. In the space
game space.
In the space space.
Actually, I think Drifter may have been. It wasn't the first space game to go through and succeed on Kickstarter, but it was definitely the first space trading game.
Right. What was the first? Do you remember the first like space game? Because I don't.
I think Kinetic Void might have been
just before me. No, not Kinetic. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't speak ill of any other game, but Kinetic Void is crap. Sorry, I said it. It's
yeah,
crap.
But it's better than Elite.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I don't mean to speak ill will of other games, but wow, that game is not good. That game is not good. But yeah, you were one of the earliest Kickstarter successes, if I recall. Now, do you still keep tabs on Kickstarter? Like, I noticed you still update the campaign there with updates and stuff. But like, have you I've noticed, because I'm still a backer of many things, but I've noticed there's a lot less stuff that's not only succeeding, but people are going to Kickstarter less and less now. There seems to be a fatigue going on. Have you seen that as well?
I'm not sure if it's a fatigue thing. I mean, it's. I think it's a function of maybe some people are a bit more cautious, but also I feel like people being cautious is kind of the point of Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Like, I may be taking a long time to finish it, but I'm still here. I'm still working on it. Like, yeah, I'm releasing updates and.
Yeah, you're not like that. You're not like those guys whose business partners spend all their money on beer and hookers.
Oh, that was not good.
That was so sad. That was so sad.
Yeah, but I think, there have been a lot of contemporary games that have kind of failed, and that's the thing that happens with Kickstarter. Like they say that up front. It's like there's a chance that these people might not be able to do what they're setting out to do, but basically the whole point is as long as they tried and the money went in the right place, like that's all right. But still, I definitely want to try and do good by the people who supported me, and
Well, sorry, go ahead.
And I'm just like, I don't mind people, I'm my biggest critic with this kind of thing. So I'm like, oh, I need to finish this and get it done and all this kind of stuff. But I think hopefully I'm doing a decent job with trying to at least, I always check like the forums and comments and things like that. And I'm always there to as I say, jump down from the rafters to respond to questions and bug reports and things like that.
Yeah, this is not a game I've ever felt has been abandoned. I mean, there's a game I'm worried about called Limit Theory, which I've been concerned might be abandoned, and I don't think it is. But it's like the updates are very few and far between on that project now, and that was a huge project. So there I think, and there have been some other beautiful Kickstarter failures, like what was that Deep Station 9? What the fuck was that?
Space Station DF9 or whatever.
Yeah.
Space Base
DF9. Yeah. What a.
I think what happened with that is just the early access did not pan out as well as they thought it would.
But you can't put all your eggs in that one basket.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the dynamic of early access has changed as well. Like when it first started, it was a lot easier to kind of get a lot of people into the game. And now it's like, because there have been so many people who've been burned by early access projects, it's been there's a lot less front page promotion on Steam and stuff like that, which is by design, and I understand that, but it's like the intent has changed over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But not talking about any specific projects, but it's falling into like a lot of people when they're creating something like this end up getting into this kind of like creativity death spiral, I call it, where like you're working on something and you got to manage a community and you've got expectations and it's like, oh, it's taking forever, and then you kind of get embarrassed. It's like, oh, it's not progressing as fast. It's like, maybe I should just like be quiet, and eventually, and you're thinking like, oh, eventually, I'll have this update out and it'll be fine. But then like there's a lot of radio silence, and then because of that radio silence, the people, like the backers or the people in the forums or whatever, their imaginations run wild. It's like, oh, well, this person's run off with all the money, and so like that's a risk. So like that's something that I try to really avoid, like a trap I avoid falling into, is to just like always be there and try, like, as even if I do get that feeling from time to time, like, oh, I wish progress was a bit faster. Like, at least I'm still here, communicating with people who are like, supporting the game.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I've never really felt like this game has been abandoned. Like, I felt like other games have. I'm not sure what's going on with some other games, but I've never felt this one's been abandoned, and I can understand why people do. Feel that the game has been abandoned. I kind of.
Put out another YouTube video.
Yeah, that would help.
I will.
With the cat in it. Make it a cat video.
Have a video of your cat playing Drifter. This is how easy to play Drifter.
Have a video of your cat playing Drifter.
This is how easy it is to play Drifter.
A cat could play it.
Cat could play it. If a cat could play it, you could play it. And then I have like a tiny disclaimer. Cat playing
cat
Drifter.
Not included.
Cat playing Drifter does not have any indication on how well you'll play Drifter. Something like that. Say it really
or
fast.
Or cat not included.
Cat not included. Well, we've been talking for a while, man. I don't want.
Oh, hey, wow, yeah.
An hour and a half. So let's wrap this up.
Before we go, just
go for it.
Sven, my artist, just sent me a sketch that he's working on of a new station type that I'm going to share with the stream. And if you want to tweet it out or whatever, you can feel free. But
you can't post links in there.
Oh, well then that's horrible. Okay.
I know. That's. See, I switched to YouTube because I think in a lot of ways it's better than Twitch.
Here, what's your Twitter handle?
Celsius GS.
Yeah, post it on your Twitter. And Hunter, are you posting it in the thing?
I'm going to. Hold on. You said it is.
Draw maybe a sexy elf. I'm asking for a friend.
A friend.
How do you spell it?
CELSIUS GS.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, that's how we're gonna start wrapping up. So
did you tweet that out yet?
I'm just doing it now.
All right, send that tweet out, and then I'll get that over to Brian. Actually, yeah. No, go ahead.
So, Colin, where can people find your stuff? It's Celsius GS on Twitter.
Yep.
And
driftergame.com is probably
driftergame.com. Okay.
Yeah, I just followed them. Brian, throw this up on the stream if you can. There's a link in the chat there.
Encore.com.
Got it. The Imgur link you just gave me? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Booyah. Let me take a look at that real quick.
It's not tits, we promise.
Wow. Look at that. Hang on. I might be able to add that to the actual stream. Hang on a second. Let's move this over here. Hang on. Okay, hang on a second. I think I can do this. Yeah, there we go.
There may be some slight homeworld influence to this particular one.
It does look a little homeworldy, but that's fine. I love it. I'm showing it in the stream now because I'm sharing my window.
Awesome.
So yeah, I love that design. That's very Tron-ish, Homeworld-ish, which is anything wrong with that. Ain't a thing wrong with that. So I did put it on, so now people saw it. It's on the stream because, but yeah, folks, it looks kind of like if someone took the mothership from Homeworld but kind of expanded it a little bit and made it look like an actual space station rather than a weird ship with this weird hangar in the middle of it. It looks kind of like that. Do you know what I mean? It's on the stream. You'll see it. We should also post that somewhere. Should also post in the show notes. But yeah, so driftergame.com, Celsius GS on Twitter. So that is awesome. And folks, the game in American dollars is $11.99. It's called Drifter. It's on Steam. It's in early access. Again, just making sure you all know that, because there's a lot that Colin wants to do to get this done, but to add to it before it's done. So the next big version is 7.0. That was your last update note, was like the road to 0.70.
Yes.
And that's going to be, just give us a quick rundown of like the big bullet points in that one that's coming up.
I'm hoping to have material synthesis is the big thing, the crafting system, where basically you can eventually like there's the base weapons in the game and equipment and like jump drives, but eventually I want to have, like, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like borrowing from RPGs. Like, you might be able to get a laser +1, but the only way you can't buy it. You'll either have to make it or find it, out there, basically. And the other big thing is I'm finally replacing the placeholder textures on the planets with properly procedurally generated textures. I'm working on a system basically that uses scripts to create different and unique like planetary systems and things like that. Yeah.
Nice. One last question. In the space station, what's undefined going to be?
With the undefined, basically, each space station type will have its own like station-specific. What's the right word? It's like a station-specific facility. So, like, mining systems already have ore processing. Like, if you go mining and you collect ore, you can't sell the ore on the market. You have to take it to ore processing to convert it into, like, refined materials. So, and then another station type, the high-tech station, will have material synthesis. So you have to find one of those, like, you have to go to that specific station and then go into the material synthesis facility, and then you can queue up crafting jobs, basically. So, like, not all of it is quite hashed out, but basically that's what that is going to be. Like, each station type will have a facility that is unique to that station.
Oh, that's very cool. So that explains why at this one station I'm at, they wanted nothing to do with the ore I was trying to sell them.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's cool. So I did see a few more mission types as well. As we were talking, I saw the Smuggler Inception, which is neat, and the Antivirus Mission, which is neat. So I'm seeing a little more variety. I don't know if like my level went up or something, or if I'm in a less safe system, so now there's just more stuff popping up. But I like that the better I get, the more stuff is available to me. So that's cool. I am enjoying that. But yeah, this game is pretty damn great, folks. It really, it's not like, you're not going to get like an Evercron or Elite style experience out of this, but you are going to get something suitably spacey, but fun. Like more focus on fun than worrying about what your relative velocity to a space station is, or something like that. Or you're matching the rotation of a station, or you're wondering why the game doesn't have bookmarks or a functioning economy. So, Colin, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We'll definitely have to have you back on once the game goes live. Now, folks,
For sure.
Folks, next week we are going into the realm of the physical. A friend of ours in the Facebook group, he's launching a Kickstarter for a board game, a spacey board game called Squadron Strike Traveler. Jim knows a lot more about this than I do, so he's probably
sound like lumber to me.
He's probably going to be taking a lot more point on this podcast than I will. But yeah, so next week we're going to have our friend Ken Burnside on the show to talk about his kickstarting board game. It's a spacey board game, so it's kind of relevant, but it's not a computer game.
Yeah, but we should say that it's being developed in Lumberyard because it's a board game.
After all, ha ha ha. After all, it is called Space Game Junkie. There is no preface on whether or not it's
computer game. Space Junkie.
I just don't have time for board games with moving counters.
Neither do I, but with anything, I make the time.
And math, and I want the computer to do all that for me.
Yeah, you know what? Just roll the dice, Brian, and take a chance.
Oh no!
Oh,
We're not going back to that game.
Roll for initiative.
Oh no! I fumbled. Oh no! My head flew off. Oh no!
That's not Blood Bowl.
2 1s. Oh no! I didn't open the door. I blew up the door somehow. Anyway.
Yeah, that's it. So we got to send Colin a copy of Tharsis.
Oh no! No! That's cold. No!
There's no middle ground on Tharsis.
No, there really isn't. Oh no!
We've had damn near bloodshed right here on the show.
That was a crazy episode from a few weeks ago. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in and watching and listening. We had a good audience tonight in the chat room. We're always on Tuesday nights, so please stop by and say hello. If you have a suggestion for a guest or a topic or a question or whatever, just don't forget you can hit us up at hail@spacegamejunkie.com. I just want to hell yes. I just want to throw out one last thing. I haven't talked about the Patreon campaign in a while because I don't want to pimp it too much. But if you can all just check out the Patreon campaign because it's helping me afford more expensive hosting, our Mumble server that we're using right now, backups for the site, our paid for,
and that swank yacht that we meet on every second Tuesday,
Evolve Room. So if you have $1 to spare a month, just throw it our way. It helps pay for stuff that we try and make the site a more awesome community with.
Brian, you're such a pimp.
That was a horrible sentence.
We could get a relish tray for only $5 more.
Hey, so actually, while we're on the roll of pimping some things, so if you guys want to play games with us, come hang out with us on Thursdays, and you know, you guys can pick the game if you want. If we have it, we'll play it with you.
As long as you pick Grand Theft Auto, that's what he means.
As long as you pick Grand Theft. No, seriously though, we love to play with the community, and that's what Thursday night's all about. So come out Thursday, and if there's a game you guys want to play, just hit us up and we'll play it with you. Yeah, I mean, we schedule things in advance, so if there's a game you want to play, let us know, and we'll put it on the calendar.
For only $99.95, I will play any game, anytime.
Like this week, we're gonna be playing with Vendetta Online, which
that's right.
Yes, you should install that because it's got some funky ass tutorials. I played
NVIDIA Shield.
I played an hour of it today, and it's not bad. I don't know if I'm gonna.
They're doing a big graphical over.
Oh, I don't know if
calculation thing.
I don't know if I'm gonna subscribe to it, but I am digging it. I
think it's kind of weird that it's a 10 spot a month for a PC user to subscribe, and then the Android people get to play for free.
Maybe we should get them on. I'll think about it. Maybe we should get them on and ask them, guys, why? That's the whole podcast. Why, guys? Why?
I have the NVIDIA Shield version, so.
Yeah, you didn't have to pay for that. Wait, did you have to pay for the game?
No.
Oh, so it's a free download and free to play.
Yeah, it's free like beer.
But us PC types, we got to pay $10. What? I don't know.
Well, you get 8 hours to dip your toe in.
I know, and I've already used up about an hour of that, but I'm enjoying it. So we're going to be playing that on Thursday. So yeah, if you have a suggestion for something you'd like us to play, join us. And last thing, we're on Mumble quite often, especially Jim and Hunter. They're on Mumble quite often playing Grand Theft Auto, and because they have more time to actually game than I do.
It's not true. We actually neglect quite a few other things, but whatever.
Well, okay.
Oh, is that my wife
Bathing,
calling me?
Eating.
But folks, yeah, don't forget to check out our Mumble server. You can find all the information on the website, spacegamejunkie.com. We have a paid Mumble server. We're on there fairly regularly.
I'm hungry.
So,
Would you like some mayonnaise?
I'm testing the format, guys. I'm testing the outro. So anyway,
Okay.
Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you Thursday and next week. Have a good one, folks.
Goodbye.